Angels. It's your girl Shamika with For God's Glory. Thank you for coming back for another segment of Winning Wednesday. Today's topic is entitled How to Win the War for Your Mind. And this article is written by Jeff Vanderstelt. This article definitely spoke to me, and I pray that it blesses you. The Apostle Paul directs the church in Rome to not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of their minds. One of my favorite scriptures, Romans 12:2. Then, while instructing the church in Corinth on how to engage in the spiritual battle around them, he directs them to take every thought captive to obey Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:5. In a world going wild, surrounded by the enemies of our soul seeking to distract and destroy us, we desperately need the truths of the gospel applied to our minds daily. That is so true. So today and next week and the week after, I'll be discussing 3 different steps that can help us in winning the war for our minds. This week we are going to discuss how to challenge your thoughts. Have you ever slowed down to pay attention to what's going on in your mind? I know I have. What are you hearing? What are you thinking? What are you believing? We are constantly being informed by words and ideas, worldviews and philosophies. Our personal stories are filled with disappointment, brokenness, and pain. And our hearts and heads have been informed by lies, deceit, and accusations from the world, the flesh, and the devil. We need to take captive of our thoughts and examine them. To take something captive is to take control of it and put it in a controlled environment, like putting a ferocious animal in a cage. Then we need to take a close look at our thoughts and consider what we are thinking or believing and why. As we do this, we need to consider if our thoughts line up with what is true of Jesus and our new life in Him. Do our thoughts conform to the truths of the gospel? Ask yourself, am I thinking or believing the good news about God, others, or myself? The enemies of our soul tell lies about God to tempt us, to breed distrust in relationships to divide us, and to rehearse accusing words in our ears to destroy us. What kind of words are you hearing in your mind? I think this is definitely a good topic for us to discuss. And I think I could speak for us all that we constantly, every day, have something going on in our mind. Something that an amazing woman at my church told me once in discipleship class was, think about what you're thinking about. So true. I can just give just a light example. Sometimes, if you're honest, you may be in school or you may be in church and you can't wait for service to be done or class because you're already thinking of what you're going to eat for lunch or dinner. I think we've all been there. So, for me, I have to refocus my thoughts. That's a big thing for me because I can be distracted. I could be doing one thing, and I always like to say I multi-think. People say they multitask. I definitely multi-think. I can think about several things at the exact same time. So, for instance, when I'm in church, that time is with me and God. No one else should matter. Although you're in a worship service and there are lots of people around you, that's your time to have that one-on-one with God. So I have to constantly, even hold myself accountable and not worry about who's next to me, who's looking at me, who's watching me. And it can be hard because, I sing in the choir at my church, and there's lots of cameras. So sometimes the camera goes on this person, or you see someone's outfit, or, there's a lot of distractions in our world. So refocusing in that way is definitely something I want to advise and something I'm continuing to do myself. All right, so now a deeper example for the question they asked about what are you hearing? What are you hearing about yourself? And I'm going to touch a little bit on bullying as an example. I know for me, growing up, I was a very heavy child, which I mentioned in one of my previous Testimony Tuesday videos. And, due to that and me just being young and, just not really living yet, I had a low self-esteem. I kind of believed what I was told. Not from my family. My family and my friends have been amazing and supportive, but you hear things from other people. Because I wasn't a size 0, a size 2, I used to be called elephant in 4th grade. People used to always call me fat, and it really did something to me when I was younger. But I started to learn once I got older, once I started cultivating my relationship with the Lord, I learned that I'm a child of God. I am beautiful. I'm fearless. I'm amazing. I'm wonderful. Every positive word you can think of. I started to speak over my life good fruits, good attributes, and diminishing all of the negative terms that I've been called over the years. So don't get me wrong, like I definitely try to be a good person my whole life. It's just natural for me. I just always want to do good, and I have a lot of love for people, and I just want to walk in God's love always. As I started to read the Bible more, built my faith, I started to believe the words I was reading in the Bible, God's words about me and no one else's. And that's what I want to encourage you all to do today. Like, sound out, try and silence those negative thoughts, like those negative seeds. And unfortunately, it sometimes comes from people closest to you. You just have to, I know in my case, there are times when someone will say something and it may trigger an old memory, or it may make me want to say something not so godly, and I have to think, but what would God say? What would God do? That's actually something I use all the time. For those who know me, I'm always like, but what does God say? I was literally just texting a friend, and she wanted to do one thing. I'm like, but what does God say? God is always speaking. It's up to us if we're going to listen and be obedient, or if we're going to just do what we want to do. So that's been my goal, is to, I swear, just side note, doing these videos, you have no idea how therapeutic they are for me. Because being able to share with you guys my testimony, it's just a blessing, honestly. And it's making me become more aware too, because as I'm saying stuff to you guys, it's making me recount or be reminded of what I need to continue to do. Seek God, seek God. It sounds easy, easier said than done, but take it day by day. Trust me, you will start to hear Him clearly. There's a lot of times I hear Him and I'm like, but I don't want to. I know we've been there. I don't want to do that. And God's like, but I said to do it. So just encourage you all to be obedient. And just lastly, we'll continue more of this in the next segment, but think of how God sees you. Like I said before about silencing out all the negative thoughts, you are a child of God. You are always chosen by God. You will always be God's number one. Even if you're no one else's, you will always be God's number one. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Let you think on that, ponder on that for a little bit. And I look forward to seeing you all next week for the second step of winning the war in your mind. Thank you all, as always. I'm super excited about this page, and that it's been a blessing to you all. Please comment, please like, please write questions, please subscribe. All right, God bless you all. Until next time, bye-bye.